Blessings, everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Cassandra, and you are watching Spotless Mind Tarot on YouTube. Today, I will be pulling cards for each of the 12 zodiac signs in order to receive insights into the Taurus New Moon, which occurs on April 27th, 2025 at 7 degrees and 46 minutes. We'll see how the energy of this moon cycle will be affecting you for the next 6 months leading up to the Taurus full moon on November 5th, 2025 at 13 degrees and 22 minutes. I'll be using the Albano-Waite Tarot deck and the Urban Crow Oracle for these readings. As always, watch for your rising, moon, and or sun sign placement to get the most out of these readings. If you're not familiar with astrology, then the sign that you're born under according to your birth date is good enough for this. Timestamps for each of the signs is below in the description. If you would like to support my channel, then please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you would like to book a private tarot reading with me, you may do so through my Etsy shop. The link for that is below in the description. I also accept tips and donations, although this is a free reading. However, I would greatly appreciate any support that you offer to me. So let's go ahead and get started. Aries, rising, moon, or sun. With Aries on the ascendant, this new moon will be placed in your second house of resources, material possessions, your wants, needs, desires, and your overall sense of security. Okay, so we have the Seven of Swords, and so for you guys, there's something that you are trying to acquire, but you're having a really difficult time. There's something here about claiming ownership over something. So I feel like for some of you, there could be some legal issues that you're dealing with at this time, and you're having a very difficult time with it. So let's say you're trying to like copyright something or trademark something, but you're running into a lot of obstacles. So if that's not the case, I feel like overall there's some kind of obstacle with laying claim to something. This could even be like there's issues with some kind of inheritance. Maybe there was a passing in your family recently, and the family's kind of like feuding over what they should get out of it, which sounds kind of like crazy to say it that way, but like with all due respect as well. But it's something like that where there's just this like people are getting in the way, whether it's like directly or indirectly. Or maybe you're just like struggling to identify with something. You're struggling to, you're struggling to see your importance and place in the world. Okay, so I feel like those are all some messages here for those who are watching. So, only apply what resonates. However, this is energy that's going to play out for 6 months. So maybe you won't recognize it right away. Maybe these things all will come up for you just at different times. So this energy leads up to the Taurus full moon. Instead of doing my new moon readings from one new moon to the next full moon, I do it from sign to sign. And so since this is Taurus new moon, it's going to take 6 months for there to be a Taurus full moon. And so that's just how I do my readings. But I will say with this, you want to watch your footing. You want to be really careful because you could also be impending on something. You could also like being like really rude about this in some way, like everything I've said. I feel like, there could be some selfishness involved, but it could just be like the survival instinct, this primal instinct, okay? So it could go either way. Like I get a very neutral feeling. So however it manifests in your life is entirely dependent on you and your karma and what you got going on in your birth chart. But I will say, You know, it could go either way. Things can go either way for you. You know, it's not clear at this moment. Like, again, you know, there's this struggle to claim ownership over something in some kind of way, however that may look. And so, you know, I think whatever this is, it's taking a long time. Yeah, like that's what I'm getting. So let me pull one more card. So we got two cards, and we got the Two of Swords and then Temperance. And so I would say there's a lot of mismanagement going on. There's a lot of like, again, it's kind of like the analogy of somebody passing away in the family, and then like everyone's trying to claim their belongings. Yeah, it's like there's just like there's so much up for grabs is what I'm hearing. There's also like not enough information with Temperance. Well, with the Two of Swords, I feel like you're not getting enough information. I kind of feel like you're blocking yourself. I feel like you're so sure of yourself that you're not taking any advice from anybody. And Temperance is here to say that, like, yeah, you're probably right in whatever it is you believe and feel, but you should consider other options, however those options may look for you in your life, like whatever that may be for you. When it comes to something surrounding claiming ownership, you know, Temperance is here to tell you to be a better manager, basically. You know, there's a mix of having faith and also like just doing everything by the book, okay? Like doing all the steps. It's very much a card of like alchemy, okay? And so you don't want to miss a step because, you know, the whole thing could explode, you know? It's kind of like baking. Like baking can be difficult for some people because when you bake, you have to do like exact measurements. Otherwise, something's not going to go right. Like too much butter is going to make your cookies too soft and mushy and oily, and too much flour is just going to like dry them out completely. And so you have to have exact perfect measurements. And so I feel like with whatever comes up in accordance to this Taurus New Moon, and even if you're not an Aries rising, it's still affecting your second house. Of course, if you're not an Aries rising and you know your rising sign, then please watch the other videos to get a little more insight. Or, you know, skip to it. It's not going to be a separate video. It'll be this video. But for the most part, it has to do with just your own sense of security and your own resources. You know, it's your resources instead of others' resources. And so you gotta deal, I'm kind of losing my train of thought, but you gotta do some dirty work here. And you gotta you do gotta rely on yourself and your resources. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of like lost it. But that's basically what I'm getting from this. It's basically what seems to be showing up. So overall, I feel like there's a lot that's like out of place, out of control, out of your hands. Temperance is here to remind you to manage and balance. With the Two of Swords, it's another card of balance. It's a card of, you know, you need to take action. The longer you sit, the worse it's going to be. You need to take action. You need to initiate. The Temperance does that as well. It's Sagittarius. You got to initiate it. Yeah, so that's what I got for you guys. And so let's pull an oracle card for you from the Urban Crow Oracle. And I'm going to read what the booklet says and kind of like let your own mind wander or wander, not wonder, but maybe both. But kind of like let your own intuition speak here. You know, you want to read the card for yourself. At least that's how I like to approach oracle cards. I feel like it's good to for my current, for whoever is on the receiving end of my readings, to kind of like make their own thing out of the oracle card itself. Okay, so for you guys, we got number 14, distance. Okay, so let's see what the book says. Distance. To get the lay of the land, sometimes you need to take a look from a distance. Distance indicates that you would be best served by taking a step back so you can see the big picture. You may be focusing too narrowly on one area while there is a whole world out there to explore. You may need to consider if growth within a situation or a relationship is at risk of being stunted due to being overcritical or nitpicky. Are you able to see the potential even if there are a few flaws? Of course, you might find distance appears when you're too focused on one positive aspect of a situation or event while missing all the negative outcomes that may potentially exist. Distance asks if you are too close to a situation to remain impartial or unbiased. You might benefit from taking a leave of absence or literally putting some distance between you and the situation by taking a trip. So that's what I got for you, Aries. Thank you for watching. Taurus rising, moon, or sun. With Taurus on the ascendant, this new moon will be placed in your first house of identity, sense of self, your soul's direction, and your place in the world. Interesting. So this card flipped into the upright position, but it was originally in reverse in my deck. So this is the Six of Swords. So with that happening, you could be going from this, okay, to this. And so this is a good thing because for you, Taurus, I feel like you can finally let go and be free to choose what you want, what you desire, what you know is absolutely necessary for you. I feel like this new moon is, I mean, it is your new moon since it's happening in your sign. And if you're a Taurus ascendant, it's in your first house, okay? But I feel like for you guys, this is definitely like a brand new start. And I know that's so cliche to say, but I mean, this card is also signifying that, you know, this is a card of seeking refuge, of leaving the past behind. It has a lot to do with, like, it's seeking refuge. It's kind of like not necessarily running away from something, but it's getting away from something that isn't safe, that isn't substantial, which isn't, you know, it's hindering you. I feel like in your situation, I mean, for some of you, it could be like you're leaving something really bad behind, like an abusive relationship. But I feel like this has a lot to do with just your overall self, your overall, like, who you are. I mean, it's your sense of identity here. You know, it's like just leaving behind toxic habits. It's like, you know, you quit smoking, you quit drinking. Maybe you've been sober for a while now and, you know, you're starting to like really feel like you're getting yourself back again. Like things might be, you know, things just might be feeling good. So you could also be like leaving a phase of like being sick all the time or experiencing a lot of bad health or something like that. And it's 11:11 on the clock right now. Okay, so the next card we got for you is the Lovers. And so, I mean, look at it like this. Like, this is what you're heading into. I feel like for you guys, there seems to be a lot of like self-acceptance. Okay, let's see. You have Uranus in your sign. And so, yeah, I could see how you haven't been feeling like yourself, especially while Uranus has been transiting Taurus for some time now. I mean, you guys are a fixed sign, and then with a planet like Uranus coming through, it can be really uncomfortable because it's like, you know, I like the way I am. I like the way I dress. I like the way I think. I love what I eat. But Uranus is just like, you know, you could try better. You could do better. Or, you know, you should really reconsider. Or, you know, it's like, Or maybe you should approach it this way, Uranus is giving you an opportunity to do things differently for once. And, even though you're a fixed sign, it doesn't mean that you're going to remain fixed for long or forever. I mean, all the Tauruses I know, as far as I'm concerned, like what I observe, I don't see them to be very fixed people. Like the Tauruses I know are very, very adventurous and they do a lot. And then maybe that is like a fixed thing anyways. Like just because they do a lot doesn't mean that they're mutable. I mean, I don't know. It's just an observation. Like I just don't get that from Tauruses. I mean, whatever. I feel like Uranus is giving you, like I've said, that opportunity to really just expand and grow beyond your horizon, okay? It's challenging you to, it is really challenging you to get out of your comfort zone, but it's in a good way, okay? It's not in a way to threaten you or to render you useless, which I don't know why I said that. That's just what I channeled. It's really just a way, it's like a tower card, but it's a friendly tower card. Uranus is here to shake things up and kind of like, it's a very much has to do with evolution, at least in how I do astrology. Uranus to me is definitely a planet of evolution and things like that. And so is Pluto, but I think this evolution is different because with change comes evolution, and you can't have an evolution without change. Pluto will give you change as well, but it's different because it's more transformative, where Uranus is like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. Uranus is more systematic about it, whereas Pluto is more like deep and like mysterious and like, he's more cool about it. Um, Uranus is just a little more flamboyant about it, I guess you could say. And so, yeah, I hope this is making sense. I feel like I'm not hitting the mark in your reading. Coming back to the tarot, I feel like with the Lovers, I mean, you got to embrace this change. You got to embrace this growth. This is going to shift your perspective, especially this new moon is a bit, it's not a fun one, and it's not the worst thing in the world, but there's a Pluto opposition happening between Mars and Pluto. Lilith is involved, and there's like the star involved that's kind of like destructive, like it doesn't get a good rep. And so it's a very uncomfortable new moon, to say the least. And I think the best thing you could do right now is you need to leave something behind that's really destructive, something that's not safe, something that's not sustainable, something that threatens your livelihood in some way, however that may look, and step into this Lover's energy where you kind of just embrace the totality of reality and of the universe, and you kind of just like, you got to open yourself. That's the thing with the Lover's card. It's about being really, really open and receptive to receive. You have to be very with the Lover's card, you have to be very focused and also very open, okay? And it's the duality between the masculine and feminine. And without the two energies, the two polarities coming together, of course, not necessarily a gender thing, but an energetic thing, there's no union without the masculine and feminine energy, okay? It's really important, like I said, regardless of gender, whatever you identify as, you need that energetic polarity of plus and minus, male and female, okay? It's everywhere. I mean, I always give the analogy of like a battery. A battery cannot operate without the plus and the positive and the negative of both sides of the battery to become one, right? Like that's just how it works. So, just consider that moving forward. there's integration involved, and maybe pay attention to where Libra is in your chart, or maybe there's a Libra that can help you in some way. It's that balance and duality, although the Lovers is Gemini. I don't know, I'm just getting Libra here. And so, yeah, that's what I got for you guys. So let's go ahead and pull an oracle card. And I'm just going to read from the book, and I'll let you, your own intuition, your own imagination, and your own consciousness kind of like run with the message that is given to you from the book. So we got number 24, illusions. 24, illusion. Have you ever been absolutely, positively, 100% certain about a situation only to find that the complete opposite is true? During a reading, illusion may surface to help you uncover if you are clinging to a narrative that suits your feelings about a situation rather than the facts. For example, the person who spends their day angry that their email was not answered. They assume the recipient read it and ignored it. All that energy being upset and angry could have been avoided if they just realized that they themselves forgot to hit send. Illusion may appear if we are operating on false assumptions, assumptions, or if we are in denial and do not want to accept the reality of a situation. When we double down or commit to the story recreated in our minds, our actions and behaviors are then a byproduct of what we want or assume to be true. If our assumptions are wrong, our actions and behaviors may have negative consequences. Does your interpretation match reality, or are you acting on an illusion? So that's what I got for you, Taurus. Gemini rising, moon, or sun. With Gemini on the ascendant, this new moon will be placed in your 12th house of hidden realms, enemies, dreams, fantasy, secrets, and solitude. Okay, so we got the Two of Cups. So Gemini, I feel like it's interesting because this is happening in your 12th house if you are a Gemini rising. But with that said, I kind of feel like maybe you guys are gonna like get off the hook here. I kind of feel like with this Taurus new moon, I don't know why, but I feel like you're really in your element, okay? I mean, we do have the Two of Cups, and so this has a lot to do with unity and balance, harmony. There's a lot of good fortune coming your way in terms of relationships and partnerships. I would say especially romantic. And so there's something here with the 12th house. So you could even be receiving a gift, okay? Or something really important will come up that is like a gift. So it may not be like physically a gift or anything, but it's also like a blessing, okay? There's like an element of surprise here as well, I'm getting. There's something, yeah, so like you're gonna be receiving something. This is a new moon for you to be receptive and open. And I got the same thing for Taurus in a way. They had to be a little more receptive, but they had to take action, whereas you guys, not so much. I mean, this is your 12th house, and so it's kind of like a house of inactivity. It's fully receptive. And so, yeah, I'll pull another card to get a little more insight into this energy. But just Gemini, I just get a sense that you're just overall like in a good place. I feel like this, again, I mean, it depends on your chart, but just based on this reading alone, I just feel like this new moon isn't going to really affect you too much, which I know is crazy to say, but it's like, that's just what I'm getting. Like, or how it does affect you, it's smooth. It's effortless. Okay. Yeah, like it's gonna enter your life so effortlessly. I mean, it can come in with a big bang, but I'm just not getting that right now. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and get another card then. So we got the Queen of Pentacles as your second card. Okay. I always get just the Queen of Pentacles. She's just always in her element. She's so unbothered. I love her. Like, she's such a vibe. So it's definitely like what you guys are experiencing right now. You're really, really unbothered. And that's why I say you're in your element, because I feel like a Gemini, I mean, anyone in their element anyone's in their element if they're unbothered, but like Gemini especially, because they are, it's a sign of being really well informed, being really aware of things. I always relate Gemini to being a sign that likes to be up to date, likes to be aware of current events. They kind of like Aquarius. They kind of have like a little activism to them, or like just a little like a political thing about them. I mean, I feel like the air signs do anyways. I mean, Libra rules over justice after all, and Aquarius can rule over the rebellion or just the collective, like it represents the collective people. So yeah, I don't mean to ramble, but with that said, because you guys are so well informed on whatever it is, and if it doesn't have to be politics, you know, it could leave you feeling restless because you guys are like sponges when it comes to information. You're really good at absorbing it and retaining it. Same thing with your sister sign, Aquarius or Sagittarius. They're very good at retaining information and storing it and remembering it. And just like, again, just being well informed. And so I could see how that could lead to anxiety or like just mental conflict. Like your mind's just busy all the time. You're just always just like, I got to find out more. I got to do more research. It's kind of like the vibe I get sometimes from Gemini, or at least when I'm getting in this reading. But with the Queen of Pentacles, it's like, you're a lot more relaxed than you typically are. And I mean, I think that's pretty impressive considering the environment that we're in right now, especially if you live in America or any other like, yeah, I don't want to say like just Western countries, but just if you know what's happening in America, like it's in the house out there. It's kind of crazy. And so overall, you guys seem to just be real chill about it. You seem to be, you're a little more serious. And so maybe that's why you're more calm, because it's like emotional maturity. It's so much deeper. I'm sorry if this is all over the place, but it's like, it's so much deeper than, yeah, now I'm losing it. I second guessed myself. And so that's not something that the Queen of Pentacles does. She doesn't second guess herself. She knows. And so maybe that's just all it is. Like, there's really nothing to be said then. Like, you just, something. Or it's just like the information you receive. Yeah, it could throw you off. It could be like overwhelming, give you anxiety, can keep you up at night. But for whatever reason, it's not. And, it's in accordance to this new moon that I'm talking about. And this is going to play out over 6 months in that house where this new moon is affecting. So if you're not a Gemini rising, then it's not going to be in your 12th house. So you want to pay attention to where it is. But even if you are a Gemini rising, it's still in your 12th house. It's still affecting you in some way. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like you guys are more action than you are talk right now. I feel like you're more about showing and like, it's not so much like showing off and showing the world what you know, but it's more like, being about it, I guess you could say. The Queen of Pentacles is about her shit. She's not showy. She's not, she doesn't brag about it. She doesn't talk about it. She just is it, it's aura, she just has it naturally. And so I think it's a good archetype to tap into, especially at this time, because it could keep you really grounded And you just have this inner knowing. The thing about the Queen of Pentacles, and I guess this is what I'm trying to say, is that she doesn't have the need to prove anybody wrong or to show off the knowledge, wisdom, money, wealth, material possession she has. Like I said, she just is it. She just embodies it. And so you could see it for yourself, for those who have eyes to see, I guess. And so you guys seem to be in that position now where it's like, yeah, I don't really need to prove myself at this time. So that's what I'm getting. I kind of feel like there's different messages there. Like, it started off one way and ended another, but that's what we got for you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and pull an oracle card and then read from the booklet, and I'll let your own intuition kind of like decide what it means for you, and, you know, let you just kind of absorb what it has to say. So for you guys, we got 26, insight. Crows and ravens are problem solvers. Crows make tools and learn from each action. In this illustration, you see the crow dropping rocks into the water. After testing a couple of rocks, the crow began to understand the relationship between the stones and the water. It learned that with each rock, the water would rise, and as a result, the buoyant shrimp would rise too. Insight asks that you take the time to examine your situation. Test out different strategies to gain wisdom. When you understand the relationship between all contributing factors, you will be able to identify actions that yield little benefit or remove any obstacles that may have been in your way, and in turn, apply strategies that expedite success. So that's what I have for you guys. Thank you for watching. Cancer, rising, moon, or sun sign. With Cancer on the ascendant, this new moon will be placed in your 11th house of networks, community involvement, your social circle, creative projects, aspirations, and gains. Okay, so first card we got is the Sun in reverse. Okay, Cancer. So clearly you're not happy about something. There's something really weighing you down here. I would recommend you watch the monthly video for Cancer on this channel. Maybe there's some insight into that. You know, and I can't recall what happened for the month of April for you guys in that reading, but it could be something that's just playing out this month overall. And it's not necessarily like the new moon itself. It's just something that you're going through. However, because I'm doing a reading on the new moon, this could be a time of closure, especially if you've been stuck in the position of the Sun card in reverse. So it's not so much to do with like being unhappy, being dissatisfied. It could just be feeling like, you know, like feeling like a ghost, feeling kind of just not really all there. Maybe for some of you, there could be self-esteem issues. So you're not really feeling adequate. You're not really feeling like you're doing your best. You know, maybe there's some depression. Maybe, you know, for some of you, there could be a connection issue because this is dealing with the 11th house, for at least for Cancer ascendants. But even if you're not a Cancer rising, it's still, the 11th house is still in play here. But, you know, so there could be something here, like some kind of disconnection with your community, with your friends. Again, you know, I said something about not feeling adequate. So maybe your aspirations, like your motivation level could just be really low right now. I would say with the Sun card, and I'm looking at the bottom of the deck, it's the Wheel of Fortune. That's really karmic. So the Wheel of Fortune is a card that's undecided. Okay, it like sits in the middle of the major arcana, kind of almost. But it's a card of showing you that the wheel of fate is turning, and it's going to turn in your favor, but not in the way that you think. Okay, because, you know, just think of like any kind of like what's that show The Price is Right, they have to, at the very end, all the contestants get to spin a wheel, and whoever gets the highest, the two people who get the highest number get to advance to the final round. And like, let's just say you're on this game show and you finally make it. Let's say you won a couple things, right? And you make it to the end and you get probably the lowest number possible, like you get 0 or something, and you don't make it to the final round. And it can just like completely like devastate you. Like, I was just doing so good, I was killing it, I was on fire, then at the very end I lose, right? So it could be something like that in your life, to where maybe the Wheel of Fortune didn't spin in a favor that was good for you. But look at it this way: you're on the show, okay? You won some prizes. Okay, I don't know why I'm getting like an image of like a jet ski, like you won a jet ski. So it's like, what are we really crying about? Like, what are we really upset about? And so with that said, I would say maybe look at areas of your life where maybe you are being selfish. Maybe you are we have the Moon card. This could deal with disillusionment, just not like seeing things for what they are in one aspect. Maybe it's not them. Maybe it's you. Maybe there's just some underlying issues that you are experiencing right now. And I kind of feel like some of you are like pitting the blame on other people. Okay. That's just like what I'm getting from this. So, if it doesn't resonate, then, take it with a grain of salt. Maybe this could be something really minor. Maybe it could be something really subtle, like you're not really aware of it happening, but it's happening. Maybe it's a subconscious thing. Sometimes it's really hard for us to see what we're doing wrong while we're doing it, because we could only see from our perspective, especially when we're in the moment of things. And so, yeah, like, nobody's perfect, right? Like, we do the best we can. And I think that's what's really important about this with the Sun card in reverse. It's like, you got to give yourself some credit here too, especially with the analogy of like The Price is Right, being on a show and you don't make it to the final round. Like, so what? Like, who gets to make it onto that show in the first place, right? Like very few people in the world ever get to do that. And so, I think it's kind of like the Wheel of Fortune, like kind of just shift your perspective, look at it from the opposite end, look at it from a different angle. There's a lot of religious and spiritual practices that, talk about this in Kabbalah. It's good for a Kabbalist to pray when they pray to God, or, they say Hashem, when you pray to the Creator, instead of asking for help. Like, please help me get out of this shitty situation. I need this amount of money so I can pay my rent. I'm short on rent. Please help me. Like, I'll do this. I'll do this in exchange for that. It's usually how most people pray. But like, a Kabbalist will pray in a way to where they ask for help, because that's what prayer is, right? But they ask for help to see things from a different perspective, to see this difficult situation as a blessing instead of a difficult situation. Or however you want to word it, however you want to look at it, it's asking the Creator to help you shift your perspective, essentially, instead of asking for a favor, okay, in exchange for another favor. And so, I don't know, that's just something to like think about, like just kind of like, reverse your position on something. With the Wheel of Fortune, I'll say that this is kind of a difficult time for you. And there's a lot, with the Wheel of Fortune, there's a lot that needs to be done still. It's in motion. That's the thing. The Wheel of Fortune is a card in motion. We don't know where it's going to stop. Only the universe knows. And so one of my favorite things to tell myself is that fear and worry especially worry, is a lack of faith. And so maybe try to apply a little more faith, kind of just like try to drop your worries away and kind of just let the wheel turn, let the universe do its thing, because there's only so much we can control. And what we can control is how we feel and how we see things. We can control our perception to at least enough to, that's complicated. I mean, like, our perceptions are based on our conditionings, but we could shift that at any moment, okay? Especially as an adult, you know, when we're, especially past 25, when you're like when your brain's fully developed, right? You have a lot more control over yourself than you believe. And I think that's what the message is with the new moon is you're in control a lot more than you think. And it's a matter of shifting perspective, and also just kind of like, instead of looking at all the negative things, look at all the positive things, like the Price is Right analogy I gave. So that's what I got for you guys. Let's go ahead and pull an oracle card, and I'm going to read from the book. And so I'm not going to interpret the cards. I'm going to let you interpret the cards for yourself. So that's how I like to use oracle cards. I like to read what the book says and then just let the current decide for themselves. Because ultimately, like, you don't need me. You don't need tarot readers. Like, you have your own intuition. But I get it. Like, we need outside opinion. We need outside confirmation sometimes to give us a sense of clarity and all that good stuff. So, but I always like to let my clients know, and it's 11:44 on the clock, that, you know, you have all the psychic ability that I have. You just got to manifest it and work on it. However, I will agree that not everyone should do what I do. I mean, it's not the funnest thing in the experience in the world, you know, but whatever. It just, you know what I'm trying to say. So we got 37, preparation. And I don't know if I've ever pulled that card before. So that's kind of cool. All right. Preparation. Here in the Seattle area, we have lots of ferries, and these smart birds have mastered the ferry schedule. The crows know when the boat will return and on which side of the road the cars will disembark. While the ferry is crossing the sound, the birds harvest the clams from the nearby beach. They bring the clams over to the ferry landing and strategically place the clams just right so that when the cars leave the boat, they run over the shells, breaking them apart and leaving fresh clam meat for the picking. Preparation speaks to getting ready for something you know is on the horizon and planning for it accordingly. It's about getting all your ducks in a row, or in this case, clams, so that you achieve the most beneficial outcome. So thank you for watching, Cancer. Leo, rising, moon, or sun sign. With Leo on the ascendant, the new moon will be placed in your 10th house of vocation, careers, public image, legacy, long-term plans, and your impact on the world. Okay, so Leo, we got the 9 of Cups. This is good because, I mean, we're dealing with the 10th house here. And so this is what you want in your 10th house. This is what you want to occur. Okay, it's literally like, it's literally just being super, super secure and like super successful, it's a self-made card for sure. It's probably I think it's one of the wish cards, but it's definitely a card speaking about being self-made, being like super, it's like winning the lottery, but like over your emotions too, though. It's like being so unbounded by everything else and being so like locked in is what I'm getting. And so I feel like this new moon is a time for you to quite literally lock in. you know, to really work towards something that brings you success. So it doesn't have to be career and like anything on a granular level, although we're talking to Leo here, right? So, I mean, I'm talking to Leo. Of course, you want everything to be grand and you know, in everyone's faces, but overall, it's like just it's more self-achievement I'm getting than it is like an external thing. So yeah, like there could be, I would say there could be a lot of victories coming your way, a lot of success coming your way. And however that might look for you, if you're not a Leo rising, then it may not manifest in terms of like careers and things like that. Let's say, you know, Leo's like in the fourth house. And so this has to do with the home and family. And so you're going to see your success and your victories within the home environment, however that may look. Okay. So just consider that. Like it's going to be different for everybody, but whatever it is, it's something that has a long lasting impact and impression on you. Okay. So the next 6 months are going to be quite interesting. I feel like for a lot of you, you could be climbing the ladder, whether or not it's corporate, doesn't really matter. You're climbing the ladder in some way. You're rising to a new level of success. There is some self-made energy here, but you could still have success within any kind of partnership or anything. But it's really what you do. Okay, so even if like you work for a company instead of own your own company, it's what you do for this company that is yielding the victory, yielding the success. Okay, it's not so much what you did for the company. Okay, if that makes sense. I mean, it should always be like that. It should always be what does it do for you instead of what it does for other people. I mean, to a certain degree, because we are here to love one another and give to one another. But I just this is a little more. It's a little more personal. It's a little more. Yeah, it's just more personal. So I'm gonna pull another card to get a little more clarity. I will say though that it is like some stubbornness here. I'm not sure what that's about. I feel like that could be something separate. It could also just be you kind of like in your own little world, not really thinking about other people. Okay. So you want to be careful with that. You want to be careful what you put on display because it's almost like, you know, don't announce your next move. Okay. That's kind of like the vibe I'm getting. So. Okay, so we got the King of Swords here. Okay, so there's something here that's challenging you then. There's an outside force that's confronting you or is going to confront you, okay? They're going to question a lot of things. I feel like for one, they're going to question your authenticity. So it doesn't have to be one person. It could be other, like the public. It could be the universe, like testing you this. So it could be something that's just coming up within your own psyche. But either way, I feel like you're being challenged. You're being tested. It has a lot to do with like legitimacy, with authenticity. So yeah, like even though you have all this success and you've done all these wonderful things for yourself, how much of that is actually you? Like, are those are the cups for show? Are they trophies? You know, like did you win that, or did you just acquire it? Like, there's just nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with acquiring and inheriting, but in this situation, like, did you cheat on your test? You know, like, do you actually know the work? Can you show your work? Okay, so that's kind of like what's happening here. Okay, or what could come up in accordance to this Taurus New Moon. And over the next 6 months, you might even see, I wouldn't be surprised if like this comes up 6 months from now. Like, like this is your build up for the next 6 months. This is what you're going to achieve for 6 months. And then come November, this energy of the King of Swords is going to like question your authenticity. So I would be on my, best A game if I were you. Leo, I feel like I do feel like Leo does have the desire to be authentic, but I think it's more has to do with just being expressive, whether or not it's authentic. Because Leo, they are people that like to copy and mimic. They like to reenact. They like to act. They like to kind of like show off, and so with that, it could just be entertainment. It could just be like you're a joker, like you're just putting on a suit and playing the part. Or it could actually, and there's nothing wrong with that because it's still authentic because that's how you like to express yourself, right? But it's like how much of that is you and not inspiration from something else. So it's like a really interesting reading I'm getting for you guys. It's really interesting how it's challenging you. I do feel heavily, I mean, there's going to be a lot of Aries activations. There already are a lot of Aries activations. But like Saturn entering into Aries, this has a lot to do with people being authentic, with people like stepping into their power. Saturn is going to challenge everybody's authenticity. He's going to challenge, are you really about your shit? Like, can you really stand alone? Can you really be like this all alone by yourself? Okay? Like, can you sit in front of the whole world like this? And it's kind of like what Saturn's doing to all of us. He's going to really humble us. If you think Saturn's humbling you while it's in Pisces, just wait to Aries. There's going to be a lot going on. So I think that's kind of like what's happening here because you're a fire sign. All the fire signs, like you guys are heavily affected by this energy of Aries, this new, I just get Aries vibes all of 2025. There's a lot to be said. I don't want to get into it, but yeah, I think that's good for your reading. So we're just going to stop there. And then I'm going to pull some oracle cards, or just one oracle card. And I'm going to read from the book, and I'll let your own intuition decide what it means, okay? Because ultimately, you have psychic abilities, whether or not you're aware of it. And so I want you to go with what you feel when it comes to the oracle card. We have number 33, Night. It is here that all the chatter, all the noise, all the action of the day subsides and quiet returns. Night creates a space to contemplate the day as a whole. What event had the most significant impact and will help you grow? Are there events such as petty squabbles that serve you little and can be released into the dark? Night brings to your awareness your sleep hygiene. The ability to get a solid 8 hours of sleep has been proven to not only help your mood, but also improve your health. Both dementia and heart disease are linked to lack of sleep. Do you practice healthy sleeping habits? Are your nights filled with restorative sleep, or does your racing mind keep you awake? When the night card appears, you may need to focus on creating a healthy bedtime routine. So yeah, that's kind of cute. It's a cute oracle. I kind of feel like it had nothing to do with what I said, but we're just going to leave it at that. So thank you for watching, Leo. Virgo, rising, moon, or sun. With Virgo on the ascendant, this new moon will be placed in your 9th house of higher learning, philosophy, religion, long-distance travel, publications, luck and fortune, and moral values. Okay, so it took a while for a card to come out. And we got the 10 of Pentacles. So with that said, I feel like this new moon is going to affect you in a very slow manner. I feel like there's going to be a lot of don't know why, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of instability. And so you have to like take things slowly, which I know might sound kind of like strange. Maybe like when there's things that are unstable, you want to like quickly fix that or like quickly overcome it. But yeah, I don't know why I get instability, but there's something here about just approaching it really slowly and maybe methodically, like very calculated. You know, that could be something that the Ten of Pentacles could relate to, you know, because this is like legacy. You know, it's there's so much to say, like it is stability. It is like having it all, especially in terms of like home and family, like just overall like who you are in the world and like where you come from and that sort of thing. And so maybe there's insecurity then. Maybe this is not what, maybe you're not seeing this. You're not seeing the bigger picture. And it's not so much like this is the bigger picture, but maybe you're like lost sight of your way in some way, however that may manifest. I mean, this is the 9th house, so this does have to deal with what you believe genuinely. Religion, spirituality, your philosophy, like the way you think, you know, which affects the way you behave. Okay. So let's go ahead and pull another card. Okay, so we got the 3 of Wands. And so I could see where there's an instability now because I kind of feel like you're very too undecided about something. You're very eager to get to the finish line, but you've barely started at the same time. Okay, so it's confusing for me. I'm not really getting a clear picture, so I hope that what I'm saying resonates with you to some degree. And so there's something here about communication, but I think it's like communication with yourself. I feel like maybe for some of you, you're not spending enough time with yourself. You're not listening to yourself. So and that could create instability. Like maybe you're relying too heavily on the material world instead of relying on what's within. Okay, that could just be one aspect of this. This could be what the new moon is bringing to your awareness. I feel like this has been going on for a while now for some of you. And it's like the new moon wants you to be aware of this. Okay. I think the positive side of this is that you are embarking on a journey. You already, like, there is something good going for you already. There is something here that's promising, but like you're getting in your own way. Maybe you're spending too much time up on this hill. You're not progressing forward. Maybe, yeah, and it's like maybe you're relying on the outside world too much. However that looks in your life. I feel like for some of you, there could be something here about, there could be financial problems, or maybe you're not investing enough into something here. Whatever this is, like with the 3 of Wands, like it's keeping you stuck for some reason. Like you're you know, it's like you climb to the top of the hill to get higher. All right, so my video stopped recording because I ran out of space on my computer, which is really annoying because yesterday I cleared everything. Like I didn't clear everything off my desktop, but I removed a bunch of stuff and put it on my hard drive. And like I'm still like I'm out of storage, so I had to move everything to the hard drive. And here we are. But the video got interrupted because I ran out of storage. So I want to take that as a message, because maybe there's an instability there with you, because with the 10 of Pentacles, it's an overabundance. Okay, it's falling back too hard on everything you have. Okay, it's relying, maybe you're relying too heavily on your own self, your own resources, and whatever it is, instead of accepting and receiving anything more. It's almost like, I don't know. So I feel like on one end, for some of you, you have too much. You have too much and you need to get rid of some of it. On the other end, I feel like, yeah, sure, you have enough, but you denying more is preventing you from moving forward. It's preventing you from getting down from the hill. You know, it's like you like the view too much. You know, you don't want to accept anything else. You're good, right? You're solid, but it's keeping you stuck in one place, and that's going to create instability if it hasn't already. And so with this new moon, I feel like it's asking you to, it's basically bringing it to your awareness. It's not like a full moon kind of awareness. It's more like, oh, this is going to be your reality if you don't do something about it. And during this new moon is a perfect time to get it going, to plant the seed, because in 6 months, like you could easily be still standing here in 6 months. Okay. So this was like a difficult reading for me. I hope it made sense, because it doesn't make sense to me. Maybe it's going to make more sense to you. But definitely take what you can from it. I feel like I got the message out of what this is really about. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull Oracle card. And I'm just going to read from the book on this one. And I want you to draw your own conclusions and to use your own psychic intuitive abilities to tap into what it really means for you. So I'm not going to interpret this card. Okay, I'm just only going to show it to you and read from the book. So number 35, perspective. Crows really do hang upside down. The birds take this position to get at the food that would not be attainable otherwise. When you take a moment to stop, disengage, and open your mind to seeing the situation from a different perspective, you might realize there is more information available that will assist in ensuring the best course of action is taken. When perspective appears, your situation will benefit from slowing down and holding off on any significant decision making, as you may not have all the information that is available to ensure that all aspects of the situation are considered. So thank you so much, Virgo, for watching. Libra rising, moon, or sun. With Libra on the ascendant, this new moon will be placed in your 8th house of rebirth, transformation, inheritance, marriage, the hidden mysteries, and personal/soul development. Okay, so for you guys, we got the 4 of Wands. Okay, so I feel like for Libra, I feel like this is a reality that you pretend to have, or this is a reality that you worked really hard for, and maybe you've obtained it. Maybe you've actually did get this. Okay, it's the 4 of Wands. It's ultimate fulfillment. It's perfect home life. It's, a husband, a wife, children, white picket fence. You got a dog, you got a cat, you got it all, right? But for some reason, I feel like it's what you got it all. You got something you wanted. But I don't know how to put it, because I'm also trying not to get personal, because I'm a Libra rising. And so like, I feel like I'm calling myself out at the same time. But I don't know. There's something here where like you had this false sense of achievement and success. Like, this is what you thought achievement and success was. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because, you know, as a Libra rising, even if you're not a Libra rising, you have Cancer in the 10th house, right? And Cancer is the home, and your 10th house is like your vocation and career and things like that. And so, like, yeah, for the most part, all Libra risings want that. Because they typically didn't grow up with a stable home. That's kind of like why they're a Libra rising, because they had to create stability and harmony and all that good stuff throughout their entire life. But like, as a child, like, you know, you were the one to kind of like bring balance to the force. All things related to Cancer is like your goal in life. You know, that's what you see as the greatest achievement. You see the Four of Wands as like the greatest achievement, okay? Generally speaking. And so with that, I feel like a lot of this does have to do with tradition and traditional values and like the status quo, like what everyone else is doing. And so I think that's why you're starting to have this realization, and we're dealing with the 8th house here, of you realizing that it is what you want, but not exactly at the same time. It's like you were influenced to believe this. You're influenced maybe on your childhood, maybe on your upbringing, to believe that this is what success is supposed to be, or this is the success you are striving for. Now, when it comes to success, if you're so busy, and it's any kind of success, if you're so busy trying to achieve something outside of you without working on yourself, you're never going to be satisfied. If you're always looking for external validation, you will never be satisfied. And like, we all know this, but you know, sometimes we do get caught up in what everyone else thinks and what everyone else is doing, especially as a Libra. You want to appeal to others. You want to, you know, you want to bring balance, either by playing the opposite to a person or situation, or you match their energy. Okay, you match their freak. I mean, if anything, Libra is the one matching everybody's freak out here, right? Like, because you're balancing what other people are putting out. So let's pull another card. But I feel like, yeah, this new moon is really bringing to your awareness a sense of success that has been really fulfilling. And here's the thing, maybe up until now, that's what you wanted, right? And you had no regrets, like, because you got success out of it. Like, it was successful. And it doesn't have to be like home. It could be anything in your life. There's something in your life that up until this moment brought you fulfillment and success. And maybe there's an aspect of, okay, wow, I was led to believe this, or I was partially influenced by someone or something else. And now you're coming to a realization of, what do I want, right? And I feel like that's a thing for all Libras. Like, you know, what do I want? I'm getting really distracted here. So let's just pull another card before we say anything else. And I feel like that what the I want energy comes from that Aries, your Aries counterpart. And as I've mentioned in pretty much recent readings, I feel like there's going to be a lot of heavy Aries activation. There already are right now, but once Saturn goes into Aries, like, oh my God, the whole world's going to be like tested on their truth and their like what they really like. Saturn and Aries, I feel, is going to test everybody and on like what they stand for. It's going to be like, okay, do you really stand for it? Like, would you really die for that? Right? That's what Saturn's going to do to us, metaphorically, maybe even literally. Hopefully not literally, but that's just the vibes I'm getting anyways. And it's just one aspect of it. It's not the entire picture. So with that said, we got Judgment. Okay. And so there's that awakening coming in, and like, you know, being judged for maybe even just judging yourself, but like being tested here. With Judgment, there's a test. Okay. It's you know, you can look at it as like the rapture. Like, are you worthy enough to be saved? Okay. And so maybe there is a sense of worthiness here. Maybe you don't feel worthy. Maybe you did achieve all these amazing things, and you don't feel deserving in some way. Okay, so there could be something like that. Or maybe you just feel like you deserve more. Or maybe you feel like, okay, I did all this stuff, especially if you're a parent, and, you know, I can really relate. I started having kids really young, and, you know, they're all teenagers now. And my oldest is 18, and his brothers are not too far behind. And so it's like, I've been an adult, I've been a parent my entire adult life, like, you know, ever since I was 19. And so I made a lot of sacrifices, you know, as all parents have to do. But, you know, I didn't get to spend my 20s having fun and partying. And I mean, I could have, but I was more concerned with my children and being a mother and all that good stuff. And now that I'm older, now that my kids are older, it's like, okay, well, you know, I really want to do more for myself. I have all this success. Like, I don't regret any of it. Like, it's been great. You know, I love being a mother. Okay. It's what I've always wanted, right? But at the same time, it's like, you know, there's a part of me that isn't happy because I didn't get the freedom that most people get. You know, most people at least should get when they're in their 20s. You know, you should have freedom. There's nothing wrong with having kids young either. It's whatever, right? But it's like, this is all I know, right? Being a mother is all I know, because I spend the last almost 20 years doing this, my entire adult life. So anyways, enough about me, but I'm just trying to get you to see what I'm getting at here, trying to relate here. So with Judgment, I feel like now it's the time to, okay, so yeah, let's say you want to do more for yourself now. Maybe you're like me and your kids are older and you really want to spend your 40s, like, you know, living like you're 20 or something. You know, with Judgment, I think it's waking you up to that possible reality, and also kind of like waking you up to something that it's so much deeper, because this is the 8th house we're dealing with. You know, it's waking you up to a part of you that maybe you've denied for a very long time and was overshadowed by some kind of success in your life. And again, because it's success, it's like there's nothing wrong with it, because it had its place, right? I always believe everything happens for a reason. I'm also a determinist, so I feel like it literally all happens like according to divine will. And so, and that's another reason, like even before I knew what determinism is, I've always held the belief that, okay, I don't want to live my life with regrets, because, you know, life is life, and like there's 8 billion of us, and like it's, you can't, you know, having regret is just like, I don't know, it is what it is. It's not like it's a waste of time, but it's like, you know, it's pretty miserable to have regret. It's pretty, you know, it takes you out. It doesn't keep you here in the present moment. And I'm going to talk because I'm full of anxiety. But yeah, like, whatever. You get what I'm trying to say. So, this is a really long video, and I'm really sorry. But the others have been shorter. But again, like, I just feel like there's something really deep here happening, and I feel like I haven't even touched the surface of it, and maybe I'm not meant to. Okay. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like there's so much to say, honestly, and I'm sorry I can't get it out, but I'm gonna have to stop there. However, I'll pull an oracle card, and I'm going to read from the book. So I want you to use your own intuition and your own perceptions to decide what it really means for you. Okay, so I'm not going to interpret the oracle cards. So let's see what the crows have to say. So I technically I got two, but I'm just going to choose the first one. Okay, so we got number 48, teamwork. Crows have mastered teamwork. Mobbing is one example of how crows work together on a common goal. When an intruder or a predator enters their territory, the birds jump into orchestrated action. Each member of the group holds an advantageous position in fighting off the threat. If your situation is a bit more complex or you could use an extra hand, teamwork will be the solution to finding success. Call upon your team, your family, or your friends to assist you when facing a challenge that requires more than you can comfortably handle. Teamwork strengthens bonds, creates positive memories, and reinforces an awareness that you are not alone. So that's all I got for you, Libra, and thank you so much for watching. Scorpio rising, moon, or sun. With Scorpio on the ascendant, this new moon will be placed in your 7th house of connection to others, integration, union, partnerships, diplomacy, and contracts. So for you guys, we got the Two of Wands. Hold on a second. Okay. So I feel like for some of you, you are entering into a new relationship or a new relationship dynamic if you're already in an existing relationship. I feel like you and another person have come together, have come to an agreement, a conclusion, a compromise, whatever it may be. There's some kind of, like you guys are finally on a solid ground. I feel like you guys are on the same page. And so this could have been something that you guys have been working on for a long time, whoever this may be with, or if there is another person involved, maybe it's a group of people, or maybe it's even just with yourself. But I feel like this has kind of like been building up until this moment. Now with this Taurus New Moon, even if you're not a Scorpio rising and this affecting your 7th house anyways, either way, I feel like there's some kind of agreement here, some kind of conclusion here that you've arrived at. And I do feel like another person is involved. Okay. I feel like there's something really significant about this. Okay. There's whatever it is that you're embarking on now is really, really important. Okay. I feel like this is in service to other people. So it's more than just like doing something that's self-fulfilling. It's like for a greater good. So there's something here in your life that is going to make an impact in some way, and you don't have to like know what that is, of course. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go out in the world and make this big impact and whatever. It's just like whatever you are doing is gonna impact regardless. So regardless of what your intentions are, whatever this is referring to, it's gonna really affect your environment and the people around you and your relationships. I really feel like romantic relationships are being highlighted here. Okay. And I'm not just saying that. Because I do try to stay away from relationship readings, just because like there's a billion of them all over the internet, and so it's like oversaturated in my opinion. But romance is definitely on the table for you guys. So let's go ahead and get another card. Okay, so we got the Queen of Wands. So you are definitely initiating something here. You're definitely being the one to like set an example about something, whatever that may be. Okay, I feel like you're in the lead here. Okay, you're leading the dance. At the same time, this could be someone that you're associated with, an Aries. Okay, somebody who is like just really good at coordinating. Okay. I mean, like, Queen of Wands gets like a rep for being like a host or a hostess, like an event planner, things like that. So there could be something like that happening. Either way, this is good. This is promising to me because it's showing me that you are like you got your head in the right place. You and it's kind of funny because now like with the cards like this, it looks like he's like presenting the world to her. Okay. So there's that like romance energy. And it could be like romantic in the sense of like think of like romantic paintings of like the American Revolution, like the paintings of the American Revolution were just granular and like just dramatic and like they're called romance pieces. And so it could just that's like the vibe I'm getting. So it's like there's something here. So you could be romanticizing something is what I'm trying to say. You could be like making something bigger than what it is. And that could be a good thing. That could be a bad thing. It's a bad thing if you're being really deceptive, like you're lying about it, you know, like you're kind of like making shit up, like you're blowing smoke up someone's ass. But if you're just like exaggerating it like a Jupiterian person would, like or exaggerating it in a way that's like to promote more of like positivity and manifestation, like kind of like seeing things in a positive light instead of like counting your blessings, right? Instead of seeing negative things. So I feel like it can go either way, but I feel like it's more just like this is the reality you're trying to manifest. And so that's why you're presenting it in such a way. Okay. I also feel like you know, I mean, this is the new moon in the seventh house. So, of course, it's going to deal with relationships and stuff like that. Okay. So, just keep that in mind too. Like, this is just the theme happening right now. Okay. And it's going to change the next new moon. When I do that video, we'll find out what happens. Okay. But yeah, even still, it's going to occur over 6 months leading up until the full moon in November. Okay. So, you could see the completion of this whatever this is, you are starting something new here with somebody. You are like on the right path. You're very focused. You're very much like seeing eye to eye with somebody. And I feel like by the full moon, you could really see like you could see the seed that you planted. I mean, we all will, of course, every full moon, but I feel like for you guys, especially after watching this reading, you know, you're going to be more motivated to like really keep doing what it is, whatever it is this is for you. And again, it's just like having all the hope in the world, like just like nothing could go wrong. Even if things go wrong, it's just like that's just part of the game, right? Like you can't always get it right. You can't always be perfect. Like I've said it before in a video, but Will Smith says practice is controlled failure. And so that's positive, right? It's like a positive way of looking at failing and practicing and having to do something over and over until you get it right. You know, it's going to produce a positive outcome because it has a lot to do with discipline. And so I think that's one of the main things here is that your discipline is going to take you really, really far. And then also with the Aries, with the Queen of Wands, yeah, maybe you should throw a party. Maybe you should get people together and brainstorm. I don't know why I'm getting something about like a podcast. So maybe I follow some people that do podcasts. So there could be something here. Like maybe you're going to host like a big event or something this year. Or maybe you could begin something new here during the the new moon, but maybe even later on the full moon, to where you like get like-minded people gathered together. So there's that element too. Okay. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot to be said, but I'm unfortunately going to cut it short right here. But I think overall, like, it's pretty cool. Like, I really like this. It's cool. Okay, so I'm gonna pull an oracle card now, and I'm just gonna read what the booklet says and let you decide what it means, and let you practice your intuition and all that good stuff, which you guys are so like psychic anyways. I don't need to tell you. So, like, you guys just know. That's why I love Scorpio, but I'm also biased. I say it all the time. So I have Venus in Scorpio, so like I'm obsessed with Scorpio. Okay, and like that's Scorpio's nature, is to be obsessed. But yeah, like you guys, like, just, you guys get it. Like, you guys just, I don't know. I can go on. Let's just not. Don't want to flatter you too much. Okay. So we got number 28, luck. That's cute. That's really cool. All right. It is a happy day for the crow who finds fish raining from the sky. Something good is coming. Be sure to position yourself in a place that will yield the best results. Luck does not happen by accident, although it often feels that way. Luck occurs when we are in the right position at the right time with the right skills. When luck appears, good fortune is coming, but it will be your talents that will seal the deal. Imagine being fortunate enough to be on an elevator with the person who you have been waiting to pitch an idea to. It's only a luck if you are prepared and ready to articulate your vision. Otherwise, it's just another elevator ride. So that's a cool message. I think that was perfect for you guys. So thank you for watching, Scorpio. Sagittarius, rising, moon, or sun. Sagittarius on the ascendant. This new moon will be placed in your 6th house of daily routine, health and habits, work ethics, services, performance, and skill. So for you guys, we got the 5 of Pentacles. So, I mean, it's a bit of a downer. You're not the only sign that got kind of like a downer card going on. You're just not up. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the Taurus energy. You're just not really feeling it. I can't imagine what Taurus in the 6th house would be like. I mean, I could imagine, but like, that doesn't seem like a very productive house, sign to have in that house. So I don't know, maybe this new moon is making you feel a little sluggish, a little like under the weather. Even if you're not like actually sick, you're kind of just like you're just not all there right now. Okay. And we'll pull another card to get some more insight. But the thing is about this card is maybe you are just running on fumes. I could see how like you're running out of energy, you're running on empty, you're just like, you're on autopilot, and I feel like you don't even realize it. And that's the thing about the 5 of Pentacles, is that, this is a sign of you needing help and not asking for it, of feeling like you're not deserving, or feeling like you got it, like you don't need help. Okay, so there's like some stubbornness to this, as well as just like not, and it's kind of like interesting for Sagittarius to get like this, because I everyone gets sad and whatever, but like Sag is like one of the few rare signs that like stay down for a long time. And so like I'm losing my train of thought, but there's something here about just, yeah, like I said, your vibes are just really low. Like there's something just like out of whack. But at the same time, I feel like you guys are pretending like it's not happening. Like you're pretending like there's nothing wrong. What's new, right? So let's go ahead and get another card. But I feel like, and that's the thing too with 5 of Pentacles, it's not as bad as it really seems. It's like it could be worse. And yeah, like shit could be bad, and I'm not like downplaying anything you're going through. But you know, it's the thing about this new moon that I'm getting for like everyone is perspective. Like perspective seems to be everything. So I feel like this new moon is initiating perspective, which I guess it would be because it's making aspects to Pluto, Mars, Lilith, and then the sun and moon. And so, you know, there's a lot of transformation happening. There's a lot of, you know, there's Pluto right there above me. You know, like there's a lot of just, I don't know, like things aren't working anymore, or it's just time to change, which is so funny because Taurus is a fixed sign. But we also have Uranus here in Taurus. We've had it here for a while, and so there's just like a lot that's like, there's a lot of people being forced out of their comfort zones, that's for sure. Okay, so I got 2 extra cards. We got the Moon and Ace of Pentacles. So I'd be really, really cautious of how you're investing your money at this time of the new moon. You probably want to wait a few more weeks. So don't invest into anything new. I would abstain from gambling. I wouldn't even fuck with the stocks. Like just because the moon is very much to do in tarot, very much to do with just like disillusionment and fantasy, and like you're only getting a reflection of something. You're not getting that actual light. Okay, like that's what the moon does. It reflects light. It's not giving off light, right? It's only reflecting what it receives. And so yeah, you want to be careful. I can see how like on one end, like investing into something, like why wouldn't it reflect something good back? But I don't know, like just with this, with the pentacles and with the moon, and then even like the 5 of Pentacles, your finances are being affected right now. Okay, and this is your 6th house. So this has to deal with daily routine and your job and things like that. So maybe things are slow at work. Maybe you're having to take time off work. Maybe you're having to put money. I don't know. There could just be like something here when it comes to your finances, or anything, just your reality, like anything to do with the pentacles. So now I'm like really lost, but you guys always do this to me though. Like there's always something with you guys. I don't understand. So yeah, just consider everything I said and apply it to how it resonates. Now, this is energy that's going to occur over 6 months. So I feel like it's coming up right now. And then throughout the next 6 months, you're going to see this reappearing until it finalizes during the Taurus New Moon in November. And so, yeah. So, well, I mean, we got Mercury in Taurus, we got Pisces, and then the Ace of Pentacles. I forget which signs it rolls over. It doesn't roll over any signs, actually. I was thinking of the pages. The Pentacles, the Aces, at least in my practice, is they're not a sign. They're not a planet. It's a tool. It's the magician's tool. This is what the divine is offering you. This is Kether. Okay, there's no, you can't put it in a box. You can't assign anything to it. Okay, it's how you go about taking this, okay, on your journey, and you know, doing what you got to do. Yeah, I don't know. Another thing about this maybe I'm just sleep deprived, but like there's like a lot of like, I get it sometimes with some people when I'm reading. It's like there's so much to say, but I can't, I'm not allowed to speak on it, or like I'm just not, I can't tap into it, maybe for the fact that it's not a one-on-one reading, so I'm not directly reading to you, although I am, but like other people are watching this, so you're not the only one. But I feel like for everyone, like there's like so much left like in the air. I don't know what it is. It's these are some really uncertain times, that's for sure. Okay, and so, and maybe those uncertainties are really holding you back here. So with the advice, I would say, and I got them all mixed up, but the advice with the Five of Pentacles is to seek the help you need to, or even to admit to yourself that what you're doing isn't working, or what you're doing isn't sustainable, or whatever it is, like whatever it is. Okay. And again, be really careful with investments right now. Something about Scorpio is really significant for some reason. I thought of it earlier, but I didn't say it. But yeah, there's something, maybe there's a Scorpio node, that can really help you. Maybe financially, but maybe just to like give you some guidance. Scorpios are really, really good detectives, right? Like they're really good at like seeing shit that no one else can see. And so they're really good at offering insight when they're able to, when they're permitted to. So also at the same time, I feel like because they know everything and they can see things that we can't, sometimes they can't speak on it, So, yeah, it is what it is. But again, like I feel like there's more to say, but I think I said all I needed to say and I don't want to confuse anybody. So that's what we got. Let's go ahead and pull an oracle card, and I'm going to read the book and let you use your own intuition to decipher what it means to you, because I'm not going to interpret the oracle cards. Okay, I don't like to interpret oracle cards because they're also typically not meant to be interpreted. They usually come with like their own message. They're usually highly personal, and so I think that's cool because sometimes it sucks doing all the work, right? Sometimes it sucks like I said, just doing everything for everyone. So, okay. We got number 26, insight. I got this for another sign. I don't know who it is right now, but another sign got this. Okay. 26, insight. Crows and ravens are problem solvers. Crows make tools and learn from each action. In this illustration, you see the crow dropping rocks into the water. After testing a couple of rocks, the crow began to understand the relationship between the stones and the water. It learned that with each rock, the water would rise, and as a result, the buoyant shrimp would rise too. Insight asks that you take the time to examine your situation. Test out different strategies to gain wisdom. When you understand the relationship between all contributing factors, you will be able to identify actions that yield little benefit or remove any obstacles that may have been in your way, and in turn apply strategies that expedite success. So yeah, I think that's great. I think that kind of goes along with the Five of Pentacles. So thank you for watching, Sag. Capricorn, rising, moon, or sun. With Capricorn on the ascendant, this new moon will be placed in your 5th house of Capricorn, rising, moon, or sun. With Capricorn on the ascendant, this new moon will be placed in your 5th house of self-expression, creativity, passions, hobbies, personal interests, dating life, and children. So for you guys, we got the Knight of Pentacles. So you guys are definitely, I don't know why, but you guys are probably looking into a career change. But you guys are definitely looking to take things a step further. I feel like for Capricorn this year, it is all about, I feel like work and career is really, really important this year for Capricorn. I mean, when is it never? But, it's this year, I think there's an urgency or the need to change career or change something about your career, or like whatever, however that looks for you, however that manifests. And so with the Knight of Pentacles, you're definitely in a stage of planning and predicting. For some of you are trying to predict things, or maybe you can make good predictions based like on calculations, based on like what you're noticing, patterns. So paying attention to patterns, I'm advising, I guess, that's coming up. But this is more like it's planning. I mean, it's the Knight of Pentacles. It's all about planning. It's the thing about the Knights is that they take the suits. No, they take the tools and you know, put them into forward motion, where like the pages like contemplate them and study them. The Knights like put it into action. Okay, they test their skill. So that's like another thing. Your skills are being tested at this time. You could also be desiring to like go back to school, or to just sharpen your skills in some way, like maybe advance or just maybe improve on something. But yes, career is such a highlight. And I know this is your fifth house energy that we're talking about, regardless of your rising sign. You know, so you want to get creative with it. You want to make it personal. I mean, as with anything, but you want to somehow, you want to incorporate your own personality in some way. Okay, you really want, you know, it's fifth house. It's ruled by the sun, and so you know, you want to. I don't know. You just kind of like, you just want to put your best foot forward. You want to make a name for yourself, whether it's on a grand level or not. You know, it has more to do with you know, I don't know, just it's like a family name, right? It's just upholding something. It has a lot to do with just your own values and like, yeah, I mean, you're a Capricorn. You don't want to be seen as lazy. Like, you want to be seen as like someone who's achieved something. You know, regardless, like I'm a Capricorn, but I'm a stay-at-home mom as well. And like, I have no desire to work, and all that. Like, that's not my desire. That's not my vision of success, right? So, but I still work hard, right? I still put a lot of work into stuff that I do. I don't know if it seems like it or not, but I put a lot of work into these videos. I put a lot of work into just anything, even if it's not anything that brings any money, because like doing these videos are for free. I'm not getting paid for any of this. You know, but just whatever. It's just like, you know, as a Capricorn, you apply yourself, like everything you apply yourself in a way as if like your life depends on it, right? Like, you always just want to do your best and always give the best performance. That's the thing about Capricorn. They don't, that's what makes them not lazy, even if they are like sitting on their ass all day. Like, if you're sitting on your ass all day, you're like the best at it, right? Like, it's just how it is with Capricorn. They're the best at whatever they do. At least that's what they strive for. So I think it's pretty good. I feel like you know, it's Pentacle energy too, so it's promising because this is, you know, solidifying energy. This is energy that you can build upon over time. It's something that you can build and, you know, not necessarily abandon, but maybe walk away from it and return back to it, and it's still going to be there the way you left it. So I think that's really, really cool. Really cool. So let's see what else we can get. Okay, we got the Three of Wands. I got this for another sign, but it's not reading the same way, especially with the Knight. So yeah, you guys are definitely embarking on a new journey here. I feel like, you know, I'm pretty sure, yeah, we're still in Mercury shadow, and so even like Venus shadow, and so you still want to give it another week or two before like really like putting your best foot forward. Now would be a good time, because I've mentioned stuff about like being lazy. Like, yeah, maybe now would be a time to kind of pull back a little bit, but pull back like a slingshot, to where it's like, you're not pulling back to go backwards. You're pulling back to launch yourself. Okay, whether literally, metaphorically, whatever. Maybe there is something you need to launch this year that's really, really important, that really makes a name for yourself, This is energy that covers 6 months up until the Taurus full moon. And so right now it's being initiated. It's definitely on your mind, and it could take 6 months for it to really transpire. Regardless, it's this, I feel like you're going to do something this year that's going to really make your mark on the world. Whatever it is, whoever you are, like whatever your interests are, whatever your profession is, like whatever you believe in, like whatever it is, like you're going to release something. You're going to do something that's, it's really going to make a name for yourself. And even if you don't see it right away, or even if you don't see any success from it right away, or any recognition even, like, trust me, it's still going to be really, really powerful. And it's an opportunity you don't want to miss, but it's also an opportunity I don't think you're going to miss at all. Okay. So I think that's great. Honestly, you guys have been the smoothest so far, the easiest for me to read. Okay. So let's go ahead and pull an oracle card. And I'm just going to read from the book what it says and let you decide what it all means. Okay. And it's 13:13 on the clock right now. So for you guys, we got number 7, catching. And not catching with the T. For those who, if you're listening and not watching, it's catching, CACHING. I don't know why I need to make that distinction, but I do. Okay, catching. One day while feeding my neighborhood crows, I noticed one of them using their beak to push around some decaying leaves and then dig a hole. The bird looked around, checking to make sure it wasn't being watched, and then swiftly opened its mouth and dropped in the food. It was saving the dog kibble I had given it for later. The crow didn't want to eat the food right away, but it also didn't want to leave it around for some other creature to enjoy. You may find yourself either keeping an idea or a possession hidden until the time is right, or simply unwilling to let go of something you aren't using out of fear that someone else may benefit from your release or surrendering. Sometimes the moment is not right to move forward. However, it doesn't mean that the time will never arrive. You may be working on a project that holds a great deal of promise, but you are unable to devote the energy at the moment. Setting the idea aside does not mean giving it up. It just means that you recognize there will be value in waiting. Catching may also indicate that you will benefit from investing. This may be investing in yourself or investing in a financial institution. So that's what I got for you, Capricorn. Thank you for watching. Aquarius, rising moon or sun. With Aquarius on the ascendant, this new moon will be placed in your 4th house of ancestry, home, family, environment, and foundations, emotional security, and domestic affairs. So for you guys, we got the devil. Okay. So Aquarius, I'll say that the positive side to this is that maybe there's something you're realizing, some kind of habit or restriction you've been placing upon yourself, whether or not you're conscious of it, and you're breaking away from these patterns. Either way, this new moon is making you realize something that it might be hard to accept at first. I mean, it's the devil card. Nobody wants to see this, right? Nobody wants to admit that they're the ones keeping themselves stuck. Nobody wants to admit that they're wrong. Okay, so at the same time, this new moon and over the next 6 months, this is your 4th house. And so even if you're not an Aquarius rising, it's still affecting the home front in some way. And so I think what you could really benefit here from this new moon, aside from like the obvious cliche things of like realizing your mistakes, your faults, admitting you're wrong, whatever it is that's related to the devil energy, where it's seen as wrong, sinful, or selfish or greedy or whatever. Maybe that's like just a realization that you're going through right now. Maybe, and I'm losing my train of thought, but like, And I'll pull another card to like really confirm what's going on here, but I'm trying to get it out without any assistance. Maybe that's a problem too. So it's interesting because I'm almost finished with these readings, and so far for like this entire new moon, perception seems to be a big deal. Okay, we do have Uranus and Taurus. And so while we're having these activations in Taurus season right now, there's a lot of like revitalizing certain things. And it has to do with things that you're stuck on or fixated on. Okay. And so pay attention. You want to look to, it's your fourth house if you're an Aquarius rising. But if you're not an Aquarius rising, it's going to be another house where Taurus is placed. And that will show you what it is I'm talking about, like how it's going to manifest in your life. Okay. I keep losing my train of thought. So I'm really sleep deprived. I apologize. I think what it really is here is there's some kind of acceptance that's being asked of you, whether it's acceptance of yourself or somebody else. Because at the same time, this probably isn't you at all. This is someone you're dealing with or a situation that you're dealing with, an event, a conflict, whatever it is. It could be something external, okay? So with that said, it's like if you are dealing with someone else, maybe it is having to accept them and accept the things they've done and how it's affected you or affected everyone around them. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull another card because I am kind of struggling a little bit. Whatever it is, it's deeply rooted in your shadow. It's an aspect of yourself that's hidden, whether or not you are aware of this. Okay, everyone has a shadow. I always look at darkness as not necessarily an evil thing. I always make the distinction between darkness and evil. Okay, because evil can operate right in front of you, right? I mean, like, just look at the world and, like, look at the people in charge and, like, how their darkness rules over others. And somehow they get away with it. Somehow it's so bright, right? Just think about it. Like, think about leaders who are oppressive. And it's like they're just getting away with it. It's because like their shadow is just so big, right? Their darkness is so big. But at the same time, it's just like sometimes evil lingers for a long time. I mean, it's just a part of reality. Okay, so we have the 5 of Wands. Okay, so you guys are probably experiencing the most conflict at this time, because this energy is going to carry over for 6 months. I feel like right now it's pretty damn difficult. And then it's going to subside and then it'll probably come back around in November. So this may not drag on for the full 6 months. I feel like it's going to show up and then leave. It's going to make an entrance and then leave. So let me try to regain my train of thought here. So there's something that you're fighting for, something you're having to compete for. And maybe you do have to tap into your darkness. And again, you want to make that distinction of darkness and evil, because some people's shadows, yeah, it's so hard and difficult because like I know I was mentioning like how leaders have shadows and like they get to do all these things. And it's like, it's not to glorify that or to even say that that's even acceptable. I'm not condoning it. It's just like a fact of reality, right? And I also feel like in order to be successful, like you do have to tap into your darkness, okay? You do have to step on people's toes. You do have to screw people over. I mean, how else do people become successful? You know, like how else do you make it? You could take the hard route and play things by the book, but at some point you're going to have to bend the rules. You know, they say rules are meant to be broken, and I'm sure you guys know that. So yeah, there's something here where maybe you do have to break the rules. Maybe you do have to step into this energy of being the bad guy. And it's not necessarily about being evil or hurtful or harmful. It's just, it's owning that power, because that's really what it is. It's power. And it's so is like love and light. That's probably the strongest force in the world. But evil is so much a very like a material reality thing. Like it to me, it only manifests like in the material reality. I could be wrong, but because we all come from light, right? I don't know. It's hard to, I'm not trying to like impose beliefs either, but it's really powerful here, I think, in our material world. The evils of the world is so powerful because technically the material reality is an evil place. If you think about like the Bible, like we were casted out of, or Adam and Eve was casted out of the garden. And they were casted out into the material world, essentially. They used to live at such a higher frequency in a very sacred place. And they got a little taste of darkness and were casted into the material world. And it was basically up to them from there how they navigate through that. And if they redeem themselves or if they fall more victim to it. So I do feel like a little darkness is necessary, but just pay attention, I guess. So I know it's like a really weird, it's a really weird reading. And I have no idea how people are going to perceive it. So that's basically what I got for you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and pull an oracle card, and I'm going to read from the book, and I'm going to let your own intuition decide what it means to you. So I'm not going to interpret the oracle card. So very interesting. We got 52, number 52, warning. This card was created during the height of the smoke from the eastern Washington wildfires that infiltrated the city. Crows have scouts that sit high up over all the action to serve as a lookout. It is their job to spot the signs and warn others of danger. Warning indicates the signs are around you. Something less than favorable is approaching, and your attention is needed to ensure you have time to react. Warning brings to your awareness the red flags that you may be missing or denying, pitting you in a less than desirable situation. From the employer who always pays a day or two late, or to the partner who never seems to want to be seen together out in public. Too often we make excuses in an attempt to dismiss the warning so as to avoid accepting reality. Warning signs appear throughout various scenarios in our lives. Sometimes it takes a friend or someone on the outside, to point out what we don't want to acknowledge. When this card appears in a reading, consider the signs that you have received. Do they shed light on a situation that you may have been avoiding? So that definitely seems to go with what I was trying to say. And that's all I have for you. Thank you for watching. Pisces, rising, moon, or sun. With Pisces on the ascendant, this new moon will be placed in your third house of communications, language, writing, short distance travel, education, your neighbors, and your relatives. So for Pisces, we have the World card. So it's interesting because this new moon may feel like a full moon for you guys. Whereas, instead of embarking on a new cycle, a new journey, you guys are completing something here. Okay, so it could do with third house matters. Okay, I definitely feel that you guys, it's interesting because I feel like you guys are void in accordance to this new moon. I don't know why I'm thinking that, but it's just like, it's like, if there was an eclipse, like, and it wouldn't touch you or something, like it wouldn't affect you, but there's no eclipse, right? Just giving an example, like to where like there's like this really powerful energy, but somehow you're shielded from it. So take that for what it is and what that may mean for you. It's interesting that I say shielded and she's surrounded by a reef of some sort. I mean, I should know these things, but I'm still learning. I'm also really lazy, so I don't learn fast enough. But yeah, I feel like I'll have to get another card because, you know, the World card can be kind of hard to read on its own because it's like what more needs to be said. There's something that completed here, right? Like there's something, and it's 13:31 on the clock. So there's something here about mirroring reality in some way. If you view the world as complete, then it is complete. If you view something you've done as complete, then it's complete, right? That's what is going to be mirrored back to you. So I think that's cool in terms of manifestation, or just like utilizing this new moon energy, you know, mirroring something here. So that brings me to mind of like Libra energy. Libra is definitely the mirror of the zodiac. It sits like in the middle, right? And it's interesting how Libra sits like in the middle. I mean, Aries and Libra sit in the middle, but like Libra is like the halfway point from starting from, you know, the first house to the seventh house, and it's the scale. So it literally is balancing both sides, right? And so yeah, maybe look at where Libra is in your birth chart, or maybe there's a Libra in your life that's significant in some way. Otherwise, this is like some energy that you're like really tapping into right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull another card just so we can get more context. Okay, so we have the Two of Swords. That's kind of funny. I mean, now I think, just to make things more confusing, all right, we have the Two of Swords. So either way, this just means that you have made an important decision, or you're about to make an important decision, and it could lead to the World, or the World energy is what has arrived and now you're making a decision. Either way, they both go hand in hand. Okay, there's we have the the Six of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, so like you guys are really throwing me off because I really don't know what to say. I'm not really picking up on anything of what this new moon is doing for you guys. So I feel like for you guys, maybe it's a time for you to step back and like play it cool and kind of just be behind the scene. Maybe there's not a whole lot of activity going on. You know, with the third house energy, it is a cool time to like organize, to write, to, you know, if you think about people who are writers, how they have to sit in their office or wherever they do their work and write, and you know, they're not involving themselves with the outside world too much. You know, they might even go a couple hours forgetting that they got to eat. You know, maybe they skip lunch because they're so engulfed in their work and doing their damn thing. So that could be something else too. Like you guys have your heads down right now. You're too focused on what's in front of you to really be so concerned with the world. And so it could also be like the bubble that you're putting yourself in. And it's not necessarily good or bad. It's, you know, I read this from a neutral perspective. So maybe on one end, maybe be careful of not isolating yourself too much. You know, with Pisces, it's fine for them to be isolated as long as you're happy. Okay, if you're isolated and unhappy, then that's a sign you need to get out. But if you're happy and like you're fine, and like, you know, it's like these memes you see of like just focusing, I don't know, just focusing on me lately or whatever. And it's just like post some silly pictures of whatever. It's kind of like that vibe. Okay. And it's funny I bring up memes because Pisces loves to communicate through memes. That's for sure. So I don't know. I feel like that's all I really need to say then. And I think that's fine. Yeah, it just seems like a time for you to just I guess just focus on yourself. Maybe do sit back with the Two of Swords. So that's all I'm going to say for now. Okay, I think it's good enough. So now I'm going to pull Oracle card, and I'm going to read from the booklet, and let your own intuition decide what it means for you. So I'm not going to interpretate these cards. So we have number 43, sacred space. I think that kind of goes with what I've been saying, of kind of just being in your own little world. Okay. Maybe your sacred space is your nest, your home, or maybe it's the beach or your favorite path in the woods. Sacred space may also point to an inner place, a belief you hold dear. It is a place that brings comfort and nurtures your development. This is your sanctuary. When you receive this card, it is a call to rejuvenate your spirit. It is time to connect with the healing energy of your sacred space. Make time to connect with this space as it will help you center your energy and recharge your spirit. So that's what I got for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, Pisces.